Alrighty guys, welcome to my horror movie tier list. Today we will be ranking 30 different icons, actually 31, I'm adding one to this list, across 5 possible tiers from iconic to killer, bloody good, memorable enough, slash and a miss, and rejects. So actually 6, I can't count clearly. So this tier list was created by another YouTuber named Cody Leach, and I saw a lot of other people using this exact tier list and thought it would be a lot of fun to do. So let's just get right into it. Angela from Sleepaway Camp. I think she's a slash and a miss. I don't think she's particularly great. She's not all that memorable aside from that final shot at the end of the first movie. Don't care too much for the cheap comedic aspect of her films. Yeah, I could do without her almost entirely. Miss. She's not a reject, but she's definitely not memorable. We got Annabelle. She's memorable enough. I'm basing this list off of the icons themselves, not the movies that they're in. And the icon of Annabelle, she's pretty good. A lot of people know of Annabelle. I like her. I think she's creepy at times, but overall it doesn't really do it for me. She's memorable, but she's nothing good. Or she's not bloody good. Also, just to preface this is my list. These are my opinions. This is not like me trying to make an objective ranking of what the best icons are. This is my favorite icons and how I'd place them based off my personal opinions. So with that being said, let's move right on to Jeepers Creepers. He goes right up into iconic. Nope. Killer. He's not iconic. He could have been, but I think the last 2 films and the way he was portrayed in them just was not good. And I think it takes away from him as a killer. But I think the first 2 movies, they really built him up really well, and I enjoy him a lot. I do wish, and there's a lot you could do with this character. You could put him in different time periods, like the Wild West. But I think that franchise is dead right now. So we got Valak from The Nun. Not a reject, or not slash and a miss. Another memorable character. Again, I'm not a big fan of these paranormal movies, especially the Conjuring franchise. But they do have their own little icons of horror throughout the franchise. And Valak is probably the biggest icon. Maybe, I don't know, Valak and Annabelle, they're pretty close. But Valak is a lot more striking, scary looking, but there's not really too much to that demon. But, yeah, that's really about it. I'm not a big fan of those kind of demons and whatnot. Alright, we got Pennywise. Pennywise is 100% iconic. This is the first iconic icon on this list. Pennywise was iconic since 1990. Tim Curry was fantastic and still my favorite Pennywise over Skarsgård. But both versions are really done well. I love the stories that they're in, and I think they're freaky as all heck. Truly iconic. You see them everywhere. If you haven't even seen the It movie, you know of Pennywise. You just call him It or this creepy clown. But iconic for a reason. So, we got the family. The Three Finger and his inbred brothers. We gonna put him at bloody good. I do like the Wrong Turn franchise. It's like a guilty pleasure. A few of my buddies and I marathoned them recently, and there's a lot of really bad Wrong Turn films. But I still hold that the first one and the remake are fantastic movies. And I think Three Finger, not the brothers as much, but Three Finger is like the icon of the franchise. They're bloody good. They're a fun time. Billy from Black Christmas. Killer or bloody good? You know what? I'm going to put him up in killer. I think Billy is genuinely freaky. I saw this movie for the first time for about 5 or 6 years ago, and I think it's still effective. Probably just as effective as it was in the 1974 film, or in the year 1974. I still think he's extremely freaky. The voice, his phone calls, they always creep me out. Just an iconic character. We never truly saw his face, always hidden in the shadows. Don't even know why he's there. It works well for me, and I think he's definitely killer. Candyman. He's bloody good. I don't have much to say about Candyman. He's great, I think. I wouldn't say he's iconic. I mean, objectively he's iconic. But for me, he's bloody good. I've never really felt the need to return to those movies. There's some really good standout scenes with him, but he's bloody good. We got the Tall Man from the Phantasm franchise. Another bloody good, underappreciated horror villain, in my opinion. I think Angus Grimm. I think that's his name. I could be wrong. I could be butchering that entirely, but he was very intimidating. I love this sci-fi macabre atmosphere that is created around the film and this mystique behind him as a character. It's very enticing. I really dig him a lot. He's a bloody good time. Nope, no. Don't try to get up there. You stay there. Hannibal Lecter. He's killer. No doubt. He's killer. He's great. He's iconic. Objectively. For me, he's killer. He's not one of my favorites. I don't really return to his movies as much. But he's rarely ever the focus of the movies, kind of like Pinhead from Hellraiser. But he's great for what he is. And I love the portrayal. I think he's better than... Who's the first guy who played Hannibal Lecter? I can't remember his name. But I watched all of his movies, and I think, obviously, Anthony Hopkins is the best version of Hannibal Lecter. And you know what? In my eyes, the only version, because they remade Maneater into Red Dragon, so there's no point to even watch Maneater anymore. So, Freddy Krueger. Yeah, he's memorable enough. No doubt. Iconic. 100% iconic. I loved his movies as a kid. They were not always my favorite, but they were always the most creative. I love Robert Englund's performance. I like the fact that you have a consistent actor playing this villain. And it's just, they were very fun. And then fighting Jason Voorhees, he was this larger-than-life figure. I loved watching him. He was always a great time. Made me laugh, made me scared. He's a lot of fun. I don't watch his movies as much now. I prefer like Halloween and Friday the 13th to his films, but I gotta say that he's probably the most creative slasher just because of his nature. He's a dream demon. That's an awesome and ingenious idea. So, he's iconic. Damien Thorne. Bloody good. He's creepy in the first movie, but he didn't really get too much characterization. But in the sequels, he got a lot more characterization. I like the story route they took him in, his self-discovery that he's the beast, he's the son of the devil. It's a pretty cool idea to tackle, and him kind of rejecting it at first. I wish they delved more into that idea, but he soon thereafter accepted that idea, and he became the Antichrist. And then the third movie is kind of over the top. Even though I do enjoy the third movie, he himself was kind of over the top, and it was okay. So he's bloody good. He could have been higher, but I think they did him dirty later on. So, and the remake, Ghostface. I'm just going to put it as Ghostface in general, and Ghostface is iconic. I love the Scream movies, all 6 of them. I think they're all superb. The TV show, let's not really talk about that. But all the Ghostfaces, for the most part, I enjoyed, aside from a select few. I think it's an iconic mask, and it's just a lot of fun. I love the premise, the meta nature behind this villain, and yeah, he's iconic. Everyone knows who Ghostface is, especially today. Jason Voorhees. Iconic. I absolutely love Jason. So I'm recording this video shortly after watching Never Hike Alone 2, and that's a great one. That's a great movie, in my opinion. It really got me excited for this potential TV show, bringing back Jason on the screen and whatnot. I love this character. I love most of his movies. Most of them. Jason Goes to Hell. I don't know about that one. And Part 5, I'm not sure about. Because Jason's not in it. So, funny enough, he's not in the ones I don't like. But every movie that he's in, he steals the show. I think he's a blast. Yeah, there's not really a lot for me to say at all about him. You guys already know Jason. He's iconic. He's on the Mount Rushmore of slasher villains for most people. So, got Jigsaw. Oh man, I love horror movies. I'll put him at killer. I was going to put him at iconic, but I'll put him at killer. He's great. I love his portrayal from Tobin Bell. It's just sometimes his beliefs kind of gets skewed. It doesn't really stay true as the films go on to what he believes or what his original ideas were. His manifesto gets tainted by his apprentices, I guess you could say, in later on. But I feel like he puts people in peril that shouldn't always be in peril, and it kind of goes against who he is and what his philosophy is. But for the most part, being portrayed by Tobin Bell is great. I really like his presence on screen. Saw X was a fantastic look behind the curtain on this character. So he's killer. He's on the verge of iconic. He could be iconic maybe next time I do this tier list, but right now I'm going to put him at killer. We're going to do Leatherface. He's bloody good. I don't care too much for the original film. And the character, before going into the franchise, I always had this image of this hulking beast, this monster that just ravaged people. But he's not that. He's almost a sympathetic character if he's done right. There's versions of him in which he's just a monster, like in Leatherface or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 version, which I actually do enjoy. I do prefer the version of him in Leatherface from 2022 and the remake. He's just this hulking monster that just will tear right through you, and that's scary to me. But the original version of him, not so much. It's a crazy movie, but Leatherface isn't truly the intimidating character in those films. It's the situation that is intimidating. Even in the remake, the father or the sheriff is more intimidating than Leatherface. I think the one time that Leatherface is truly a badass is the 2022 version. And a lot of people didn't even like that movie. So for me, he's bloody good. He's not iconic for me, and he's not even killer for me. All right, we got My Bloody Valentine. Slash and a miss. You know what? No, he's a reject. I don't really care for the remake or the original film. I don't remember really any scenes with this villain in it. It's never stayed with me. I care less about this villain at all. I think he's definitely probably the worst that we've gotten to so far. So, not really much for me to say about him. So, Leprechaun. Okay. He's bloody good. He's a fun time. His movies are really bad, but Warwick Davis's performance and portrayal of the Leprechaun is awesome. I think he's a lot of fun. He goes balls to the wall with it in all of the movies that he's in. So there are some terrible versions of him, like in Leprechaun Origins, but for the most part, he's a lot of fun. I like it. The character Leprechaun is better than the movies that he's in. So he's bloody good. Michael Myers. He's not a reject. There we go. He is iconic. He's my favorite slasher villain of all time for a reason. He's scary. He's intimidating. All the different plot lines and mythology throughout the years and the timelines. It's awesome. I really dig everything they've done with him. Even the bad ideas, aside from Rob Zombie's films. That opening scene to Rob Zombie's Halloween, why? But everything else aside from those, I think you can have a lot of fun with and have a good time with. Okay, so we got Chucky. Chucky is here. And he's killer. He's killer. If you asked me 2 years ago, I would have put him at iconic. But since season 2 of Chucky came out, oh man, that was so bad. That killed him. That dropped him down from iconic to killer. Chucky was awesome. I loved all of his movies, aside from Seed of Chucky. I liked the first season of the TV show. But after that season 2, it killed any interest or intrigue that I have in the character. And he's killer now. He could, after this third season, he might bump back up because he's like Jigsaw. He's on the fence, but I really have no interest in the character right now. Norman Bates. Bloody good. He's a lot of fun. Running out of room. Oh well. Yeah, Norman Bates is a lot of fun. I dig him. I like the original film. The sequels are good as well. And Anthony Perkins playing him is great. So, man, as you can see, I love these horror movies. I mean, it's hard for me to put them lower. Slash and a miss for the orphan. I can't even remember her name. So, the first movie, I really didn't care for. I don't know. I just the two movies didn't do it for me with this character. Didn't find her intimidating, scary, nothing. So she's a slash and a miss. She's almost a reject, but there are some good moments with her. But she's overall a miss for me. Pearl is iconic. I love Pearl. And I love. Why can't I think of the name? X. I think X is a fantastic horror film. That is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre done right, in my opinion. And Pearl, and I think even in the sequel, is fantastic. So I'm looking forward to Maxine. I love the whimsical take on her character, like a demented Disney princess. I love those two films. I can only hope the third is just as good, even though Pearl's not going to be in it. But she solidified herself in horror iconic status within 2 films, 1 year actually. So, Pinhead. Oh, okay, I could put multiple in one row. But he's killer. So, like Hannibal Lecter, he's not the focus of the franchise for the most part, but I think when he is, he really steals the show. I love Pinhead. I like this demented mythology behind him. I want to explore it more, and I think we got a lot of that in the 2022 Hellraiser film. Just Doug Bradley wasn't in it, and it just felt a little off. But they are going in the right direction with the franchise, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's up next. But I love the way Doug Bradley's presence just takes over the screen whenever he's on it. The Strangers, they're memorable enough. They're nothing great, in my opinion. The first movie's fine. The second movie is fine. It's just the characters themselves, they're intimidating looking. I like the masks. That's about it. They're memorable. That's it. Art the Clown. Ooh, man. Yeah, he's killer. I'm ready to put him up on iconic status. Even if the third movie doesn't come out for a few years, next year I might put him up as iconic status just because of how much I love that second film. The first movie stunk, in my opinion. I love his second movie. I love the portrayal of him. He's funny and scary. He'll make you laugh. He'll make you scream. He'll make you cringe. So he's iconic. Oh, I just said it out loud. He's iconic. I love Art the Clown. It could fall. The third movie could come out and it could stink and it could fall back down to killer. But in my opinion, he's iconic. So I bumped him up by accident, but that's what he is. The Collector. He is bloody good. Let's put him down there. He's bloody good. He's underappreciated. No one talks about him, but his Collector movie and collection, fantastic little films. I love them. That's all I really got to say about that. They're great movies. I love his mask. I love his deal. The fact that he likes collecting humans and then he puts their skeletons in these weird bug-like props, or I don't even know. It's bizarre, but I dig his movies. I think the first movie's awesome and the second movie's bloody awesome. Children of the Corn. They're rejects. They're just rejects. All of their movies. Every single one. Aside from maybe the third movie. They're all rejects. Every single one. Those little I can't. That's Children of the Corn, right? Yeah, that is. I don't like any of the Children of the Corn movies aside from the third movie. The acting is usually really bad for the characters. Even in the first movie, they're rejects. They do not get picked first for Dodgeball. Get them the hell out of here. The Fisherman, another one, reject. I don't care for the Fisherman. I don't think he's intimidating. I didn't like the first movie. Reject. Tiffany. Man, the show really killed any kind of interest I have in her character. But I gotta say, she's bloody good as well. So yeah, Tiffany's great. She's fun in Bride of Chucky. Even in Seed of Chucky, she's really good. But in the show, she's not. I can't stand her in the show. She would have been maybe even iconic if she remained as good as she was in Bride, but she simply wasn't. Her character was not handled well. Too campy for my taste. Looking back at this, It's only one movie. I keep getting excited. I'm going to drop him back down to Killer. I'm sticking to my guns. That's what I said in the first place. He's Killer. That's it. And as you see, I'm done. But not really. I have one more. Pop it on screen right now. Yes, Sam from Trick or Treat. Iconic. Absolutely love this character. Brilliant. Love him. 31 days of Halloween. We will be doing 31 characters, and Sam is the last one we do. Iconic status in one movie that wasn't even released to theaters, and he wasn't even the main focus of it. He is the icon, the mascot of Spirit Halloween. He is the spirit of Halloween. So, yeah, that's my list. That's my tier ranking. We got Iconic with Pennywise, Freddy, Ghostface, Jason, Michael, Pearl, and Sam. Then we got Jeepers Creepers, or the Creeper for Killer, Billy, Hannibal, Jigsaw, Chucky, Pinhead, and the Clown, Art the Clown. And then we got Bloody Good. We got the brothers from the Hillbilly Brothers from Wrong Turn, the Tall Man, Valak, Damien Thorne, Leatherface, the Leprechaun, Norman Bates, the Collector, and Tiffany. Then we got Memorable Enough, Annabelle, Candyman, and the Strangers, Slash and a Miss. We got Angela and the Orphan Girl. I can't believe I can't remember her name. And then the Rejects. We got the Valentine Killer, the minor. Sucks. The kids, every single one of them is a reject. I can't stand them. And then the Fisherman. Sucks butt. So, that's my list. You guys have a happy Halloween. Have a happy October. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Let me know what your favorite icons are. Give me your top 5. Let me know. So, that's it. This has been 31 Days of Halloween. And we'll move on to the next one. Farewell, and have a good night.